If you ever walked into an executive meeting with great ideas, but you walked out feeling unheard, unseen, or unsure if you explain yourself well, you're not alone. One of the biggest frustrations that HR leaders explain to me is this. They say, I have the title and I have the knowledge, but why do they still not listen to me? Speaking like a strategic HR leader is not about having a perfect script. It's about understanding how executives process information, make decisions, and evaluate your presence. I'm Brittany Graddick, Chief Administrative Officer by day and also HR Leadership Coach. I spent my career in executive rooms, first trying to earn credibility, but now helping HR professionals develop the confidence, the clarity, and the communication presence that leaders actually listen to. If you're not subscribed to the channel just yet, I invite you to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to be notified every time I drop a new video about ways to elevate your own HR career. Today, I'm going to share with you what you absolutely need to know before speaking with or presenting to your supervisor or above. But before we get to that, tell me, what's one moment where you've been in a meeting and you felt like you couldn't get your moment across? Was it the preparation that struggled with you? Was it the actual conversation? Was it how you felt afterwards? Tell me in the comments down below. Hear me clearly. Executives don't ignore HR because they dislike HR. Executives ignore HR when the message is not framed the way their brains make decisions. Once you learn how to speak the language of influence, everything changes. The respect, the partnership, and the invitations to bigger conversations. Strategic leaders speak in outcomes, not activities. Executives think big picture, think risk, money, impact, outcomes, alignment. But for some reason, HR leaders were trained to talk about the tasks they're working on, the policies we're updating, our processes sometimes, our feelings, and day-to-day updates. You see where the disconnect is? If you're walking into an executive meeting or you're walking into your leader's room, office, and you're talking about just day-to-day things that you're working on, and just running down a task list, that doesn't resonate with a senior leader. And I know this to be true because I've risen through the ranks in my own career. I started as an intern. After I was an intern, I was an assistant. After an assistant, then I was a generalist for a while. Then I was an HR manager, department of one. And then I was a senior HR manager, and then an AVP of HR, then a VP of HR, and now chief. And so I see how my own ability to frame my thoughts has really served me well as I've really grown in my career. So I'm not saying this out of theory or these are things that I've heard or read in a book. I'm telling you this is exactly how I've been able to grow my career, changing that mindset, breaking away from only focus on the tasks that you work on. Again, I talk about this in almost every single video. The proficiency pyramid is a framework that I created a few years ago as I was trying to wrap my mind around how can I help HR leaders, HR professionals understand that they need to break away from just doing administrative work, task-focused work, and be more business aligned. So the proficiency pyramid is very simple. It's 4 levels in a pyramid. The bottom level, we're talking about the tasks that we do. So of course, we're answering questions. We're processing things for payroll, processing things for benefits. These are things that are foundational to the department. These are things that must get done, but it's not high level work. If you train someone well enough, anyone can do this level work. And this, unfortunately, is where a lot of us are trained to stop. This is where our webinars point us to. This is sometimes where the certifications point us to, depending on the level of the certification. Just make sure you're doing your job. You're doing your job well. And for a point, that was enough. But we are in 2026 and going beyond. That's not going to cut it anymore. If you're getting stuck in just processing the work that you do day to day, that's not enough that's going to keep you secure in your role. So once you get beyond the tasks that you're working on top of that, you got your processes. That's a step further, but that's not enough. So with the process, you're looking at, okay, not only what are you doing, but what are your processes around the work that you're doing? So how do you know, how will you train the next person who's going to come behind you? How does your department run? If someone's asked you a question today about how does this get done, you should know the answer. You maybe have checklists. You've probably got guides that you've created for yourself. And these are not guides that are just going to be on sticky notes and steno pads. These are true guides, SOPs, if you will, that you created for yourself or that you're created for your department so that you know that your department is running. The goal here is for your HR department to be a well-oiled machine. Again, there are going to be so many things in HR that you cannot anticipate, but these are things that you know you will anticipate. You will have new hires. You will have separations. You will have disciplinary actions. You will have, conflict resolution and mediation between departments. You will have performance evaluations. You will have, marriages and births and qualifying events. All of those things should have a process around them. And if you don't know the answer to how do you get this done, that's probably where you need to start. So again, we worked through all this in my program. This comes directly from the Elevate Your Work module, because a lot of it is we do great work in HR, but if you don't have a framework around how you're thinking about your work, you're going to get stuck on that foundational level. It's not a bad thing to do, but it's not a sustainable thing long-term for your career. So bottom level, you got the transactional work. Top of that, you got processes. On top of that, you got your data. So data, okay, so not only are you doing the work, and you know how you're doing the work, but you know how well you're doing the work. And that's so important for you to understand. Because if you don't know how to measure yourself and your own success, how will you talk to your leadership team? How will you talk to your CEO, your CFO, your COO about the work that you're doing and how you're able to manage yourself effectively? You don't know if you're doing better than you were last year. You don't know if you're doing better than your peers. You're sure if you're doing better than the industry unless you're tracking your data. So you've got to put frameworks around your work. The top of the pyramid is that business aligned work, where you're talking to those executives about the things that they are most entrusted with you with. So they're talking about alignment. They're talking about those outcomes. They're talking about impact. They're talking about money. These are things that are going to drive the business forward. So bottom line here, if you get stuck at the bottom of the pyramid, you're going to feel overlooked. You're going to feel overwhelmed. It's going to be difficult for you to keep up. You've got to have a framework around the work that you do. And this is the work that I do with my clients. If you get nothing else, remember this. Strategic HR voices connect their message to the business, not their to-do list. Next thing you need to know, your presence must reflect the weight of your message. So what I mean by that, executives evaluate your confidence before they evaluate your idea. If your tone is rushed, apologetic, or unsure, they assume that your idea is too. Just think about it. If you had a person come to you with a request or a proposal, but they're rushing through their words, they're trying to, they're stumble over what they're saying, they're not quite sure where they want to go with it, they're not landing the plane. Is that an idea that you're going to trust? Probably not. But again, if you want to position yourself appropriately so that you have the trust and credibility earned from your team, you've got to package it appropriately. The last thing you want to do is put all this work into what you're focusing on and all this thought behind it and then not package it well, not present it well, and then it gets denied or declined and it's not a second thought. Strategic HR leaders communicate with calm authority, even when the message is tough. If this has resonated with you, hit that like button and let me know, and subscribe to the channel if you're not already so that you don't miss out on future videos like this. I've got more to share, but before I do, a quick check-in with you. Do you struggle more with what to say when you're talking to executives or how to say it? Comment down below with what or how to let me know. Next thing to keep in mind is you're speaking like a strategic HR leader. Keep your message tight, structured, and decision ready. Executives don't want long explanations. They want clear recommendations and even the implications. Think about it this way. Think about the last time you brought a new idea or a new proposal. Think about something that went well and something that did not go well. Something that you got a yes and something that you received a no. I would probably put money on the fact that if you had a yes, that was probably a well-baked idea, an idea that you probably was very informed about. You had the data behind it likely. You were able to either have a lot of passion around the idea, but not just feelings, but true details about why this person or why this thing should happen or not happen. And then if you got the no, that was probably something that you really probably weren't sure about. You had no documentation about. You probably didn't have an informed decision. You probably was asking for their recommendation. Well, one thing I've learned in my career that if I have an opinion, it's my responsibility to use my opinion. I can't expect everyone around me to know what I know. Again, I say this all the time. HR has all the data on the employee experience. So the finance team doesn't know what we know. The operations team doesn't know what we know. So we've got to speak up. If we got perspective to share, it's important for us to share, even if it's different from what other people might think. So keeping your message tight, structured, decision ready, that helps you to make sure you are staying on task. You're thinking through your ideas very well. You're prepared for any objections that might come up. You're prepared for any questions. You have data to support your decision. Again, in order to do that type of work, in order to have that kind of informed mindset, you've got to go up that pyramid. You're not focused on just what we need to do. You're focused on, okay, how are we doing it? Okay, well, how can we measure that we've done it? Okay, well, what's going to be the impact when we get that work done? This is the type of work that I want to encourage you to lead with on this channel. The whole channel is about, because I think it's so important that we do not get stuck in this foundational area. It's 2026. We're beyond that. You've got to level up your thinking, and it's got to make sure that it's going to align not only with what you want to do, but how do we know this is the best decision to make at the time? You gain influence when your communication shows you've already done the thinking for them. The best thing you can do is have a proposal, but not too long. We'll talk about that later. But have a proposal, but come with a recommendation. Don't do all of the work and then defer to them to make the decision. That's not what leaders do. Leaders have an opinion. Even if they don't take your opinion at face value, have an opinion. Have a perspective to share. That's how you really stand out. So you're presenting your ideas, you're talking to executives, and you know what to say. The next thing you need to make sure you do is you must show confidence even before you're fully ready. HR managers often wait to speak until they feel fully confident, but confidence grows the more you speak, not after. Unfortunately, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So you don't speak up because you don't feel confident. But the less you speak up, the less confident you feel. So again, you got to find ways to prepare yourself. So I like to think of it like controlling what you can control. So you can't control what they're going to say. You control how you respond to their objections, how you prepare for the objections. You can't control their answer to your proposal, but you can control the information you give them. You can't control, how the day might go or anything else, but you can control how you prepare for that day, the work that you go into with the passion that you have behind it. So you want to make sure that you don't wait for you to feel ready or wait for you to feel confident, wait for you to feel comfortable even. I feel like in those moments where I've grown the most, I've been the most uncomfortable. I've stretched and I've been stretched. And so in those moments, I've been able to really see what I'm capable of, but also rise to the occasion. So give yourself that license as well. Allow yourself to lean in, allow yourself to have these big conversations before you feel comfortable. Again, everything's trial and error. I tell my team all the time, everything we do is data if you're paying attention to it. If anything can be either a lesson of what to do next time or a cautionary tale of what to avoid next time. Everything is data. It's data in, data out. So lean into these opportunities and give yourselves grace, but allow yourself to build into the confidence that you should have. Strategic HR leaders step into the moment with composure, not perfection. As you're building your presence is so important, executive meetings are about relationships, not just information. I said before about how it's not about giving a 30-page proposal to make sure that you're getting your point across. That's not what it's about. It's about building relationships with the people that matter to your career. Your influence is built before the meeting through trust, connection, and credibility. Think about it this way. People don't care what you know until they know that you care. And not that you care about them as a person, so to speak. You don't have to be friends with them outside of work. That's not what I'm talking about. It's about building relationships, getting to know them, not only knowing them personally, but understanding what drives them. You have your career aspirations, but maybe you can figure out what are their career aspirations. Maybe you can figure out what makes them tick, so to speak. What do they prefer? What do they not like? Do you have a leader who prefers a 30-page paper? Or a leader who prefers a 1-page paper? A leader who prefers a text message? Like, you need to know that. But you don't know that without building those relationships. So you've got to figure out ways to match up and manage across as well, helping you to understand that, again, it's not just about what you know. People don't care what you know. You've got to build relationships and let them realize that you're a person, you see them as a person, and you have the ability and the desire to connect on the people level. Throughout my career, there's been a variety of personalities that I've dealt with. Not everyone is going to have the same learning style as me, personality style as me, leadership style as me, but I've had to learn to navigate even the tricky dynamics, even the tricky personalities, because there's a way to ground your relationship with anybody. There's a common ground with anybody, but taking the time to do that is really, really important. Because when you haven't asked for someone who might even be on your team, when you haven't asked for them or they haven't asked for you, not only you as an HR professional, because you're going to have to deal with them one way or another, whether it's a health issue, a pay issue, a performance issue, but just even a peer, like from a coworker standpoint, there's going to be a time where you need to partner with these different teams, whether it's the IT team, whether it's the marketing team, whether it's the operations team. It doesn't matter what the team is, but you've got to have a desire to not only treat people like numbers, but treat people like people. When leaders know you, trust you, and consistently rely on you, your voice carries more weight when you speak. If you're listening to this and you're thinking, this is exactly what I need to do to grow in rooms where it matters the most, I'd love to help you inside my program, the HR Leadership Accelerator. This is where we build the communication skills, the executive presence, and the leadership clarity that makes HR professionals impossible to ignore. If you're ready to jump in and start speaking like a strategic leader, the link is down below. But also comment down below the words HR Career Success, and I'll send you a link to book a one-on-one call with me. We can talk about your career, where you want to go, and how to fill in those gaps. Be sure to comment down below to let me know what resonates with you most from this video. Now that you know how to show up confidently in executive meetings, the next challenge is navigating the politics around those meetings. Because even the best communication strategies can fall flat if you don't understand the dynamics. Watch the next video to learn how to navigate office politics without losing your integrity. I'll see you there.